I'm Joanna. I'm studying child development from Synapse to Society. This is my first assignment. So, to start, what is development? So many things we hear about development, child development, and the influences on the development. It's difficult to understand this question. Development, we can say, is a change of an individual, of a child, over time. And there has always been a discussion whether the genes or the environment influence more or the development of a child. Yes, some of the people say that 50% are the genes, 50% are the environment. But the thing is not so easy, because the genes and environment interact all the time. They are connected and interact continuously. So we cannot say that the hereditary traits are more important than the context in which the child lives. That's why the developmental studies are so complex and must be interdisciplinary. We have to study a little bit of biology, chemistry, psychology, sociology, history, because all of these disciplines fuse, and can explain the development. So how to start, how to study the child development? One way is to use the systems approach, which is a theory designed by a scientist, Bronfenbrenner, and it's called a bioecological theory. In this theory, the scientist argues that there are 5 subsystems. These systems give us a clear framework to the complexity of the context in a child development. The first one is the microsystem. Microsystem is the relation between a child and their parents, and between the child and their teachers. Yes, so the most proximate surroundings. And how they interact. The child interacts with the parents, and the child interacts with the teachers. It's what we call a microsystem, and we can study it. The second subsystem is the mesosystem. The mesosystem are the connections between many microsystems. For example, if the parents interact with the school, yes, if the parents make an active role with the children's education, it's good. It makes a good change for the child. What else? The socioeconomic status of the parents. It's also a part of the mesosystem. So how it implies the development of the child. The exosystems goes beyond the mesosystem, and is the interaction. For example, between the parents' work and its benefits or not the whole family, or the mass media and the reaction in the family life, or if the parents can use some advice, parental advice. Also local economics and the welfare system, all of it is the exosystem. The macrosystem is all that goes beyond, so the culture values, laws, the customs, the religion, all of it where the children lives. So for example, talking about the laws, is there is a maternity leave, paternity leave, if it is paid, all of the influence of the religion on the family life, customs on the family life, yes, the government, the laws, all of it is the macrosystem. And the last system is the chronosystem. The chronosystem is how the time and history influences on the life. So if we're talking about the time, if the for example, when the sibling arrives, if the sibling arrives when the child is very little, is different, and then if the sibling arrives when the children of the child are in the school. Yes. Or for example, how old are the grandparents, or if they're still alive or not. It also influences on the children's life. So what this theory gives us, it gives us a knowledge of the context in the development. So how to, for example, to best to interfere in which system to make good changes. Okay, there's another approach to the development called probabilistic epigenetics theory by Gottlieb. We all know about the genes. We have the genes, and the genes we know are the information in our body. Information about the proteins, how and which proteins to produce. We know about this, but the recent studies have shown that the environment influence on the gene activity. So some factors can influence if the proteins are produced or not produced. Yes, so this is called epigenetics. And the Gottlieb argues that the environment, behavior, and the neural activity, all of it interact with the genes. Okay, about another article I've read, it's about the well-being of the young. In the article of Lexley and Eglinton, it is discussed that children are not just the receptors of the culture, history, education, racism, all of it. They are creators. They are creators of the lives they live in. They make a great impact on the place they live, and they interact with everything that surrounds them. Everything that surrounds them, for example, are called cultural artifacts. The artifacts are the clothes they wear, the games they play, the language they use, yes, how they communicate. All of it, the place they live, all of this have impact on the young lives. To conclude, how can we use all of these theories in practice? So, thanks to the Bronfenbrenner systems theory, there have been conducted a study to see how the children live in that context. What is important for the development of the children? What factors are important in their micro and mesosystems? So, thanks to this knowledge, we can make good changes. For example, if we see that the education of the mother is important, so we can support the mothers to educate. If we see that the time spent with the father is very crucial, so we can change some laws, or I don't know, help the companies give the parents more time to their children, change the global childcare politics. They also study the influence, if there's influence on boys or girls more. All of it can be studied, and it is thanks to Bronfenbrenner systems theory. What about epigenetic theory? How can it apply it in practice? For example, if we say that the stress or a diet has an impact of our genetic activity, so we can change the diet or use some relaxing therapy, yes, to change how stressed we are. Yes, so that's how we can make the change in the genetic activity. So as you can see, the development is very complex. And it takes a lot of interdisciplinary studies to understand it. But all of it is worth the time and the effort, because we all want a good life for our children. Thank you for watching it. Bye.